To tonight's topic. So tonight's topic is on the theme of spiritual, and the topic is mindfulness and meditation. So there's many different styles of meditation, and finding one that feels like a fit for you may take some time, and developing a practice might take some time. Meditation is essentially a practice of being present. Much of the time, we know the mind wants to be in the past or project into the future. It's always reviewing the past or anticipating the future, and it essentially keeps us out of the present moment. And we know the present moment is where we can find peace and stillness and equanimity or balance. So oftentimes we're having arguments in our mind about things that have never happened, and it doesn't serve us, or they're ruminating over things from the past. And both of these things keep us out of that present moment, that sweet spot of right here, right now. And so we can only truly be present to one thing. We may attempt to try to be present to multiple things, but it essentially depletes our energy. So taking this time of having a practice of some kind of meditation supports us in continuing to develop. And there's some brain science to this too. So the breath is a really amazing tool to help anchor us in the present moment. And that's why in every breathing meditation, we have a breath practice. So connecting to the breath is like a doorway to meditation. So we'll explore just a few different types of meditation this evening, but it truly is about finding what intrigues you, what interests you, and finding what you can work with to develop a daily practice, even if that daily practice starts out as just taking 2 minutes to breathe and to attempt to come back to the present moment. So we know the nature of the mind is to have the mind wander. And so that is part of the practice. People think, oh, I can't meditate because my mind wanders. Like, I meditate and my mind wanders. It's the nature of the mind. So what the difference is with meditation is that we become aware of that. We become aware that the mind has wandered, and we bring it back to the breath. And in that continually bringing it back to whatever the anchor is, whatever the practice is, every time we bring the awareness back, we're building those new neural pathways in the brain. So I know that a lot of times people will say, but every time I go to meditate, my mind wanders. And I just get frustrated and I get mad at myself. When I catch my mind wandering and then I bring it back, I celebrate, because it's like, I caught myself. I caught myself in this moment, recognizing that, oh, there it goes. Oh, and I brought it back. And each time I do that, we're strengthening that neural pathway. So this is, it takes time. It takes time to build those neural pathways in our brain. And life changes every day. So we have different experiences, different emotions arise. So just learning to witness those and to be present to what is, and not trying to change those things, but just to be present to it, really gives us the space to be the space that's so healing and calming. So let's start with a little breathing practice. I call this stair-step breathing, and we're going to do stair-step breathing up and stair-step breathing down. And so I'll describe it first, and then we'll go into a practice. So stair-step breathing up is going to be like a 3-part in-breath. So you're going to take a little sip of air in, pause, a little sip of air in, pause, another little sip of air in, pause, and then a long, slow exhale. So that's stair-step breathing up. Sometimes I like to have an image that goes with it. It reminds me of my little kids, little Tyke slide. It was when they were little, they had this little 3 steps up and then a long little slide down. And so the breath is like that too. And then stair-step breathing down is a long, slow breath in, and then an exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale, pause. So similar in that we're really emphasizing on lengthening that exhale. And we'll do that a few times. And so what I encourage you to do is just to notice how your body responds to these two types of breathing practices. So I'll guide you through a couple of rounds, and then you can do a few rounds on your own. So let's start by just closing the eyes if that feels comfortable to you, or taking the gaze down and in front of you as a way of kind of taking out the external influences of the day, to just be and to be here and to tune into the breath. And as you tune into the breath, inviting a deeper experience of the breath, so that as you breathe in, we're feeling some expansion in the belly. And as we breathe out, we're feeling the belly draw in. And so wherever you are, as you enter this practice, just honor where you are. And then we'll begin with the stair-step breathing up. So just taking 3 little sips of air in. So sip in, again sip in, again one more sip in, so you have a nice full breath in, and then long slow breath out. Again, sip in, pause, sip the breath in, pause, and third sip in, pause, and then long slow out breath. And a few more times just like that at your own pace. And then pausing to just allow the breath to return to a natural rhythm as you complete that cycle. Just noticing the effects of that breathing practice on your body and mind system. And then we'll try that stair-step breathing down. So it's just a nice, smooth in-breath through the nose. And then exhale and pause. Just about a third of the air. Exhale and pause another third. Exhale the rest of the way out. Pausing and then breathing in again. Nice long in-breath. And then exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Nice long in-breath again. Exhaling a third. Exhaling a third. Exhaling a third. Long, slow in-breath. And releasing that breath in 3 parts at your own pace. And allowing yourself to return to a natural rhythm. And again, just noticing the effects of that breathing practice. We just did about 5 or 6 rounds. Just noticing the effects of that breathing practice on your body-mind system. And then I'll share some affirmations. You can adopt one or formulate your own. Connecting to my breath, I find myself in the present moment. I experience the present moment fully through all of my senses. Even when I'm not enjoying the present moment, I stay with it and know that eventually it too will pass. So there's lots of, well, as you're ready, bringing your awareness back, opening the eyes. And then we'll move into some movement for today. So there's lots of different forms of mindful movement that can be like a meditation. And so we often practice yoga poses. There is Tai Chi and Qigong with much more fluid movement. And there's something called mindful eating that can be done. And that is just simply taking one bite at a time and putting your fork down. And we've done this little exercise when we were in person, and chewing each bite thoroughly, like for 30 chews for each bite. And so, and just doing one thing at a time. There's a quote on your handout today, and it says, the Buddha was asked, what do you and your disciples practice? And he said, we sit, we walk, and we eat. And the questioner said, but everyone sits and walks and eats. And the Buddha said, when we sit, we know we are sitting. When we walk, we know we are walking. And when we eat, we know we are eating. And so mindfulness is a practice, is a breathing practice, or is a meditation practice that can support us in being really present and being in the fullness of all the details of the right now moment. And so I thought what we could do today, because we often practice some yoga stretches, is that we might do a little walking meditation. And so yes, you're in your own homes and in your own spaces, so hopefully you have a little space that you can walk around. And so we'll just find some space where you can kind of walk. At a mindfulness retreat, we just simply walk back and forth, back and forth. And so I'll move out of to the edge of the picture here for a moment. And we just start by just feeling our feet underneath us and connecting to the breath and feeling the air on our skin. And feeling the energy that is you, your heart rate perhaps, feeling the breath in the body. And then as you're ready, with the impulse to walk, it's taking a step and feeling that transfer of weight from one foot to the other, mindfully, slowly, and how the foot has to shift slowly to start to transfer the weight to the other foot. And that for even a moment, you're on one foot and being aware of the balance that it takes when you go slowly. And then starting to shift off of that back foot to move again. And just noticing. So let's just start with that, is just noticing the shift in your body, in your pelvis, as you take a nice, slow, mindful step as a walking meditation. And know that we are walking. Notice the subtleties. Notice the impulse to move, the transfer of weight, where the eyes gaze, when the mind wanders, and bringing it back. And when you get to a place where you can't walk any further, then you'll just turn, noticing the turn. And then walking back again. So we can do this mindful walking in nature, in our home, wherever we are, but walking and knowing that we are walking. You might also notice the inside edge or outside edge of the foot and where the weight shifts. As you walk. You might notice up from the feet how the knee moves. You might notice some sensations of discomfort or even pain. And so as we walk in this mindful way, we welcome whatever shows up, even if what shows up is frustration. Or boredom, just welcoming what is. What else do you notice as you walk mindfully and slowly? That there's this subtle up and down movement as you switch from one foot to the other. And then when you complete or come back to where you started, just take a pause, a moment to be in our mountain pose. And take a few breaths and to notice just what that little practice has, that experience, what effect it's had on your mind-body system. So often when I walk, I do a different kind of walking meditation to help me stay present as I'm walking. So when I go out for a walk in nature, I'm walking a little faster than that. I want a little exercise. So I'm going a little at a more of a clip. And so the breathing practice I do with that comes from the Kundalini tradition. And it is a mantra called Sat Nam. And the Sat Nam translates, they're really syllables, but if you had to translate it, it would be truth is my identity. Truth, Nam, name, identity, Sat, truth. Sat Nam. And they break that down into Sata Nama. Sata Nama. And I'll show you what I do with my fingers. So with each step, I do sa, ta, na, ma. So I'm keeping my hands busy as I'm walking, and that helps me to remember to stay present. Sa, ta, na, ma. And I'm doing in breath, sa, ta, out breath, na, ma. So it looks something like this. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. In breath, out breath. Sa, ta, na, ma. So using my fingers, walking mantra-like with the breath. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And preferably in and out through the nose. If you're walking really fast in nature, you might start to get your heart rate up and you'll feel like you want to breathe in and out through the mouth. I encourage you to challenge your system to breathe in and out through the nose. So many more benefits to breathing in and out through the nose. So continuing with that, that's one of my favorites. But if the Satanama doesn't work for you, my friend Joanne Spence taught me this one. And maybe this will resonate with you more. Another way to do a walking meditation. I am on the in-breath, here now on the out-breath. I am here now. So it's I am here now. I am here now. And so you might have more of a rhythm with it as you practice. I am here now. I am here now. I am here now. I am here now. So I hope when you go out in nature, you'll try that little breathing practice, but continue in your home if you like. A few more paces back and forth. And notice that rhythm with the breath, with movement and mantra, might be a form of meditation. Some people find it very difficult to sit and meditate. But this is a form of meditation that can be useful moving. So lots of different ways to meditate. So when you're ready, coming back to your seat. And again, connecting to the breath. And then let's just take the shoulders up and then back and down. And up and back and down. Synchronizing that movement with breath. And then coming back to neutral and pausing there and letting the eyes softly close. If that feels comfortable for you, or taking the gaze down and in front of you. A simple breathing practice. Breathing in, I am. Breathing out, here now. Breathing in, breathing out. Mantra and breath. And then we'll move to setting ourselves up well for a little guided mindfulness relaxation practice tonight. So I invite you to find whatever would support you. We like to have our chair, don't we? So maybe having a chair that you can rest your feet up on, or to stretch out along the floor. Well, we'll do a nice long relaxation this evening. So if you take some time, get a blanket, or maybe even like a little eye cover to go over your eyes. Could even be the sleeve of a sweater. But find whatever comforts you need to be able to rest well. And so we'll take our time to settle in to the breath and do a little mindfulness, mindful awareness of the body. And so I invite you, as you go into this, to not necessarily let it be a falling asleep, but a falling awake, a tuning in and being fully awake and fully present to what is. And so if you notice yourself, I often do, if I do this type of relaxation, get very sleepy. And so if you notice that, you might open the eyes, be in a way where you can just open the eyes. And to welcome whatever is present, that there is room for it all. In meditation, sometimes difficult emotions come up. And so we give them the space to be. Practicing observing them with the witness mind. Just noticing what's there. And knowing that it will pass. So beginning by just tuning into the breath, as always. And some cleansing breaths. Noticing where in the body you feel expansion on the in-breath, where you feel sensation. What captures your attention more? Is it the air moving over the nostrils? Or the sensation of the belly rising and falling? Maybe it's feeling the air in the lungs and the chest expanding and contracting. Just noticing how you're experiencing the breath. Noticing if it feels more deep now or more shallow, without any judgment, but just as a noticing. Notice the feelings arise again of boredom or frustration or even irritation. Or relief or a welcoming of stillness. Or a mixed bag of many emotions. And then we'll start to move our awareness through the body. But let's start by just bringing the awareness to the feet. Feeling the toes on your left foot and on your right foot. You might, in your mind's eye, even see each toe individually. Letting all of your awareness be in the experience of your toes. You might notice the sensation of what's touching your toes. Maybe it's socks or a blanket, or maybe cool air. So just noticing. And then expanding your awareness from there to the sole of each foot. Feeling the whole sole of the foot and the sensations associated with it. What's it coming in contact with? And as if you could just send the breath as you breathe in all the way down into the feet, all the way down into those toes, the sole of the foot. And let's now incorporate the top of the foot and ankle as well. So as you breathe in, you feel that, imagine as though you could feel the breath move right down there into the feet. And then allowing the experience of the feet and ankles to dissolve now. And we're moving our awareness now to the lower part of the leg, shins, calves, on each leg. And filling this space with your awareness. Again, noticing what's coming in contact. What sensations are you experiencing there? The front of the leg, the back of the leg. And imagining you could send the breath down into that lower leg. And then breathing out all the way up, out through the nose. And then expanding out from there as we breathe in, feeling the knees. Noticing sensations around the knees. The front of the knee. The sides of the knee. And even the back of the knee. Sending the breath into these parts. Noticing sensation. And then allowing that awareness in this part to dissolve and fade to the background as we move the awareness now to the thighs. Awareness of the thighs, sensations. Where the back of the thighs meet the surface beneath you, or not, if your legs are elevated. Noticing the front of the thighs, especially if the legs are elevated, how the muscles sit in this position. And the sensations. And sending the breath into this part of the upper part of the leg. Breathing into the space. Feeling the spaciousness here with the breath. And then allowing the breath to move back out. Knowing that there's no wrong way to do this. Your experience is your experience. And then letting our awareness of the thighs to dissolve as we move the awareness to the pelvis. Feeling the bony parts of the pelvis, the hips, pelvic floor, the low belly, the genitals. Feel this whole part of the pelvis. Sending the breath into this place, aware of sensations here, aware of how the pelvis meets the ground beneath you. The sensation of clothing against your skin. Noticing anything that arises within you. And then allowing that awareness to dissolve in that place and moving on to the low back. The low back and around to the belly. And noticing sensations here. And expanding that awareness to incorporate the whole torso. The low back, the mid back, the upper back. The belly, the rib cage, and the chest. Noticing sensations. Feeling the breath expand this place. Allowing any emotion to arise, to be witnessed, to be with it. Feeling this whole torso. And then allowing the awareness to dissolve in this place, and then become aware of just the fingers on both hands. Becoming aware of the fingers. You might isolate each individual finger in your mind's eye, seeing each one. And expanding the awareness out to include the palm of the hand and the back of the hand, as well as the wrist. Feeling the whole of each hand. And sending the breath into the hands. Letting your awareness fill the hands. And letting your awareness be filled with the experience of the hands. Again, noticing what they come in contact with. The ground beneath you. The touch of a blanket or the floor. You might even feel the heartbeat in the hands, or a pulsation or energy. Welcoming anything you experience at all. And then allowing that awareness to dissolve as you move the awareness on to the arms. Aware of the forearm, the elbow, and the upper arm. Both arms. Again, as if you could send the breath into each arm. Letting your awareness be filled with this experience, this awareness of both arms. Aware of the contact of your clothing on your skin here. Aware of sensations. And then expanding that awareness out, include the shoulders. So experiencing the shoulders, the arms. And if it's helpful to include the hands here, include the hands. Feeling the breath in this area. And then allowing that to dissolve. So meaning fade to the background. We're moving our awareness on. And bringing the awareness now to the throat, the neck, the jaw. The base of the skull. Feeling this whole region. The neck, throat, the jaw, and the base of the skull. And sending the breath into this place as if this place could expand with each breath. Noticing the sensations of swallowing. Noticing sensations of tension. This is often a place where many of us hold a lot of tension. So without any judgment, just noticing how it is as it is, welcoming any thoughts or emotions that come up around this. Just letting your awareness be in this place. And letting the awareness then start to let that fall to the background as you shift to bringing the awareness to the face, to the scalp, crown of the head, the back of the head, where the back of the head meets the floor. Noticing any tension in the forehead and the temples. Inviting the breath to fill this place. Feeling a spaciousness that expands with each breath. And then expanding out the awareness, again, from the head to the neck and shoulders and arms, the torso and the legs, hands and feet, experiencing the whole body. And breathing as if your whole body was like a sponge that could breathe in through every pore. Feeling this spaciousness, welcoming in the breath through every pore in your body. And breathing out through every pore. Aware of the whole body. And then expanding out your awareness to become aware of yourself in the space that you're in the room that you're in. And fiercely begin to bring your awareness back into this space, to this room. Deepening the breath and gently opening the eyes. Taking in with your eyes the space that you're in, if they've been closed. And when you're ready, rolling to one side. Eventually finding your way back to seated. And as you come back to seated, you're welcome to turn on your camera.